We've all been stuck on the financial hamster wheel of life, and it feels like you're never going to get off. You want to break free of the confusion and frustration, but you don't know where to even start. So in today's video, we're going to go over the first thing that you need to do to acquire wealth, and I'll break it down into 3 easy steps. Then at the end, I'll give you my favorite practice to bring it all together. One of the many books that I've studied is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. In his book, he writes, to do things in a way you want to do them, you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step toward getting rich. He just gave us the first step. You have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. Now, you're probably wondering, how am I going to learn to think the way that I want to think? So I'm going to break it up for you into 3 easy tips. Tip number 1, you must first be aware of what you are currently thinking about and how you are thinking, not just about wealth, but about everything. Are you mostly negative or positive about things? Are you mostly hopeless or optimistic? Are you looking for things that are going wrong or things that are going right? Do you mostly think about the past or the future? Or can you be in the present? Do a quick assessment right now. It's important to note that your past thoughts have created your current reality, and your current thoughts are creating your future reality. So it's time to be honest with yourself and become aware of your thoughts. What reality do you want to create? When you have a negative thought, then reframe it and ask yourself, how can I think about that in a more positive way? For example, instead of saying, I have to pay this electric bill, you can say, I get to pay this bill and I'm grateful for the electricity that I receive. Be patient with yourself. It may take some time as you're learning to reframe. Now you're beginning to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. Tip number 2. To think how you want to think means that you have to let go of thinking how others want you to think. You've got to let go of the should-haves and living your life for others. By the way, in my book, Allow Life to Happen and Receive Everything You Desire, I have an exercise to help you get rid of and reframe your shoulds. You know, all of those things that you think you should be doing or creating, and you also need to stop worrying about what other people think about you. It's time to leave all of the old stories and paradigms and false beliefs, especially about money, behind. Tip number 3, you must also know how you want to think. What do you want to think about and what do you desire? How do you want to show up in the world? When I started on this journey, I decided that I wanted to be a positive person, and I wanted to grow and develop in a way that I could be of service to others. The more specific that you can be, the better. In review, the first step toward getting rich is to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. Here's how you do it. Tip number 1, become aware of what you're thinking about and how you are thinking. Tip number 2, let go of things you think you should be doing and let go of what other people are thinking about you. Number 3, you must know how you want to think and what you desire to receive. Now you are on your way to thinking the way you want to think. Don't attempt to move forward with manifesting until you master this step. It may take a week or a month or a year, but you'll know when you've achieved this skill. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people doing is trying a little bit of everything, and it can be very frustrating. So keep it simple and focus on thinking how you want to think. Then when you've mastered this, you will understand and know that all of the power that you require is within you. Now, here are 3 quotes to inspire you so that you can think the way you want to think. In his book, As a Man Thinketh, James Allen writes, all that you accomplish or fail to accomplish with your life is the direct result of your thoughts. Pretty straightforward, right? And if that's not enough to convince you to review your thinking process, then we can look at what Price Pritchett writes in his book, You Squared. He says, if you will rethink how you're thinking, you can multiply your performance potential. You must let your desires guide you instead of allowing yourself to be boxed in by perceived constraints. Now is the time to take yourself out of the financial box that you've placed yourself in. And back to Wallace D. Wattles, he writes, to think health when surrounded by the appearances of disease, or to think riches when in the midst of appearances of poverty requires power, that he who acquires this power becomes a mastermind. He can conquer fate. He can have what he wants. Now you can have what you want. How does that feel to know that? And perhaps some of you are wondering if there's some way to make this first step easier, and there is. This is what I have found, that when you practice having a profound sense of gratitude for everything that you have every day, your thoughts become more positive. Last week, I saw that Gary Vee posted this on LinkedIn. He said, my energy, every single ounce of it, comes from gratitude. Changing, reframing, and evaluating your thoughts takes energy and focus. So the more grateful you are every day, the more energy you will have to acquire the ability to think the way you want to think. This is the first step toward getting rich. If you need help getting started becoming aware of your thoughts, or letting go of what others think about you, or focusing on what you desire, you can schedule a Bliss Blueprint conversation with me, and I'm happy to make personal recommendations to you. The link is in the description below. And in my next video, I'm going to provide more information and exercises that you can do to make gratitude and appreciation your manifesting superpower. Take care and have a great day.